Mary Ealy is a health coach working with busy professionals 50 plus who have prediabetes and want to get back their high energy and optimal health. Today, Mary is sharing rising to healthy immune resilience. Mary, welcome to the BRI Talks stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry Lee, for putting together this agenda of speakers and topics. It's challenging and creative for all of us. Thank you. And thank you to those of you who are still hanging around. It's wonderful. It's been a wonderful day, and I thank you for hanging in there. God has obviously given us a body, a temple of the Spirit, which is such a blessing, but it is our responsibility to keep it in the form that we can minister to those around us through that body. So as was mentioned, I work primarily with clients who have prediabetes, and that's a state where blood sugar is rising, but it may not be to the level of being diagnosed as type 2 diabetes yet. In this presentation, I'll highlight 5 practices that can bring our immune system to a healthy place to prevent colds and flu and viruses of various types. In the last minute, I'll detail how I work with clients for their long-term good health. Just a bit about the immune system. Up to 70% of the immune system is just outside of the digestive tract in the abdominal area. As foods are being digested and absorbed, the immune system cells are like tiny soldiers, and they're standing watch, and they calculate every substance as either friend or foe and then respond accordingly. In the military, we have Air Force and Army and Navy and Marines and Coast Guard and National Guard, and all of those have their specific trainings. So they're specialized, but they all are unified in protecting us in our country. And in the same way, the immune cells work on those kind of bases. So they have specific functions, but then they are all unified in trying to set up barricades of response to flus or virus, like fever or like inflammation or stuffy nose. For someone who is elderly or has prediabetes or maybe cancer or heart disease, any chronic disease, then the immune system it has a dual source, let's say. The immune system is going to, in the first place, it's going to try to hold the body stable in face of the diabetes or other chronic disease. But then comes along the virus. And so now the immune system can't fully fight the virus because it needs to support over here to keep the diabetes balanced and so forth. So it becomes more complicated. So that's a difficult situation. When it is not fully focused on the virus, it allows the virus to replicate much faster. So the person with a secondary disease, let's say, will have a much stronger influence or adverse effects by the virus or the cold or the flu, let's say. So we want to look at a few practices that will help our immune system get stronger, whether we have diabetes or not. And one of those is having healthy whole foods, trying to have those foods that have the most nutritional value, avoiding highly processed foods in bags, boxes, or barcodes. They have a lot of additives sometimes and not very much nutrition. So we want to avoid those highly processed foods because they also can have a lot of high fructose corn syrup, which is a form of sugar. And speaking of sugar, I don't know if you're aware that having a sugar-sweetened soft drink equals about 13 teaspoons of sugar. So that also lowers the immune system for up to 6 hours. So if we have a social club meeting, for instance, or a church function, and they have desserts or cookies and maybe soft drinks or sweetened beverages, That's a double load of sugar there. So our immune system is lowered. And then obviously in any public gathering, there's always airborne bacteria. So all those viruses are in the air. Just consider the number of people who may be susceptible because of those influences. Also eating a wider variety of foods, herbs, and seasonings. And the greater the variety, the healthier our gut is and our immune system. And that is also important to choose organic when we can. That increases the nutritional value, but it also guards us from getting glyphosate, which is Roundup, that is used in all conventionally grown edible plants. So that's number one. Number two is consistent restful sleep. And that's been mentioned in a couple of other speakers' messages here, but sleep is so important and provides the environment for rest and recovery. Anytime we're needing to recover, whether it's a broken bone or it's a virus, we need rest. When our phone dies, it dies from overuse or extreme temperatures, and it just does not have the power left. And often we feel the same lack of energy if we have poor sleep habits. So decide for yourself what is the ideal amount of sleep that you need to feel energetic and mentally alert all day and the next day. And then strive to get that. What activities exhaust you? Some are so draining. And then also, do you tend to push the limits? Do you have FOMO or fear of missing out late at night for some reason and want to stay up? But think instead, how do I want to feel tomorrow? The best part of the practice, of course, is setting regular sleep and wake times. And it's been mentioned already, best hours between 10 and 2. If I can get those hours in, and they are so important to me, I get double the benefit for the amount of sleep during that time. It's so hard for those who have shift work, and I feel such burden for those first responders in the LA area who are working so many hours and know it can't be advantageous to them. But even 1 or 2 nights of poor sleep can raise our blood sugar for up to a week. So it really has a profound effect on us. Also, adjusting the room for the deepest amount of darkness, and then turning off the electronics 1 to 2 hours before sleep. The EMF or electromagnetic fields that are in those pieces of equipment, whether it's the phone or the laptop or a reading pad, all of those affect the melatonin that we have that helps us to sleep. And it also affects the depth of our sleep. So it's really important to get away from those in the evening. So now we have covered having healthy foods, having good rest. And then number 3 is daily exercise. It's so important to realize benefits of exercise and helping all of the body systems function together in an efficient way. If we leave our car parked in the driveway, let's say, and neglect it altogether, it deteriorates. And our bodies also deteriorate when we sit for long periods of time. Exercise not only strengthens muscle, it strengthens heart, lungs, and our brain function as well as our immune system. So if you're not an exerciser, start by choosing one small exercise to do 3 to 5 minutes every day. And then examine why you feel resistant to exercise, or do you need a partner to exercise? Exercise plus a clean diet can equal fat burning in the right circumstances, but it takes the benefit of all these aspects together. Let's look at the benefit of resistance or weight training also. We are often overfed and under-muscled, so we need to build muscle. Building muscle helps us to burn that excess fat we have. And it is like the support structure of a house. If we don't have good muscle strength, then we'll feel it in our back and in our legs and other muscular needs. that we don't have the function to breathe well or good digestion or immune system. Visualize building muscle and burning fat and decide on once to twice a week and make a commitment. And then number 4 is stress management. Carrying a continual load of mental and emotional stress is not good. It takes a toll. A few years back, I had an annual business trip that I need to make out of state for a meeting. And I found myself, eventually I realized that I disliked that gathering so much that I would be sick for a couple of days right before it was time to travel. And I needed to make some changes in my thought pattern and maybe those I spent time with on that trip. Establishing a consistent routine of meditation, prayer, or mindfulness can be very effective in relieving stress. And it gives us the point of recognition and release to those stresses. And then last on the list is supplement support. There are some supplements that are very beneficial in boosting our immune system. And perhaps you're aware of the need for vitamin C, and we don't make our own vitamin C. Many animals do, but we don't. And so we have to get it in foods. And it's more difficult during the winter time. So having 1,000 milligrams of liposomal vitamin C is very helpful. And liposomal means that it's connected to a fat molecule so that it is absorbed consistently and readily available. And second is vitamin D. In the summer, of course, we have the sun, which stimulates our skin to produce vitamin D. But for those of us who live above the parallel 33, the 33rd parallel, and that's Atlanta, Dallas, Phoenix, and San Diego. If we're above that, the sun's rays are too low for us to get that production of vitamin D. So supplementing with a vitamin D3 and K2 supplement is good. And third is selenium. No need for supplements. Eating 2 to 3 Brazil nuts a day is very helpful in selenium. And more is not always better because selenium is one of those nutrients that we can become toxic with too much. Fourth is plenty of fluids. And Holly mentioned that the amount of fluids as well. Good filtered water with no plastic containers. Take your body weight, divide in half, and have that many ounces of water or herbal tea to drink daily. Doing just one step of these 5 is not going to fix your immune system, but a combination of the factors, the synergistic effect, will help to build the immune system to repel colds, flus, and viral illnesses. So take care and build slowly and consistently. Now, if you need or want further help with prediabetes, my website is True Health Reset, and I'm sorry it did not come up with my name here, though I, attempted to put it in some form. TrueHealthReset.com, and the email is truehealthreset.mary@gmail. I work in a couple of different ways with clients. One-on-one individually using 4 to 5 labs to determine specific needs for up to 6 months. I also have small group classes for 4 months. And if you'd like a discovery call, if you want to go into True Health Reset, we can talk further. Thanks.